Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. We will be bringing you a huge game tonight on the St. Joseph Academy Flashes schedule as they take on the Cocoa Beach High School Minutemen in a huge matchup. The Flashes are a 3A football team taking on a 5A powerhouse tonight. Brian, it's going to be a good night, but an important night for the Flashes as they try to work their way towards the FHSAA playoffs.
It's a good test for the Flashes. This is not the first time that they played a bigger school, that they played a little higher level of competition than they're used to. The ironic thing is, even though the Cocoa Beach Minutemen are a 5A team, I only see about 20 guys dressed compared to over 30 for the Flashes.
And this is definitely a surprise as we got this team on the schedule. They had 50 or 60 guys out there last year and even for their spring game. So as Coach Tidwell and I talked about really getting ready for tonight, he was surprised as well, even just looking at their film. This game's going to start off with the Flashes on defense as they prepare to kick off to the Minutemen. The Minutemen wearing black pants, white jerseys, and red helmets, and the Flashes in a brand new combo tonight. Black pants, gold jerseys, and their matte black helmets. The kickoff is on its way, and here it is. Little pooch kick now, and that is going to be recovered by the Minutemen at the 35-yard line there. It was up for grabs for just a moment, but the Minutemen will get a chance to start off what is a strong rushing offense this evening, first from their own 35-yard line. We're going to hear the name Ryan Sarnas quite a bit tonight. He's got 40 carries on the season, 8 touchdowns. He's got 4 catches. They love getting him the ball. His fullback, Alan Rosario, is likewise going to be a regular ball carrier. And the quarterback, Joey Putnell, you'll see him throwing the ball, you'll see him running it, and you'll even see junior Jake Mazziotti coming in at quarterback, depending on the formation. This defense, of course, is led by number 24, James Drysdale, and a whole host of Flashes that can run and hit.
There's an interesting situation going on now, Todd. The Flashes only have 7 guys on the field. 4 of them got sent off. I'm wondering if it was an equipment violation. The refs are waiting.
It is. Apparently, there was some dynamic with regard to some of the armbands a couple of the guys were wearing and what color they were. While black and white, we'll have to double check with some officials to see if we can get a full ruling on that. But as we get ready to start this game, we're just 4 seconds in. There's no score, but the St. Joseph Academy Flashes are taking on the Cocoa Beach Minutemen, and here we go. First formation is a 2-back set with a man coming in motion, 2 wide receivers. They're going to hand this one off to Sarnas as we expected, and he's going to be taken down by number 85, Sam Ryan, as well as number 5, Seamus Doherty for, looks like he lost about half a yard on that run.
And that was an important stop for the Flashes by Ryan in particular, because those 4 guys that came off were not allowed to re-enter the field until after a play had been run without them. And among that group was our star cornerback, Kess, who's had quite a few interceptions and a lot of tackles over the year already.
Christian has been impressive. He was player of the week a few weeks ago. This one's going to go to Alan Rosario, who takes it off the right side for a gain of about 5 yards. That's going to bring up third down, and we'll call it a short 5 here. The Flashes run a modified 3-4 front. You've got 3 strong down linemen and 4 linebackers roving around. They're 2 inside backers. Looking at Drysdale and Doherty are really strong. They're really powerful. They love to run and hit. The safeties play really tight to the line, though, especially against a team that we expect to run the ball a lot. Little too tight to the line there. Looks like the Flashes might get called for encroachment here on third down.
And the Minutemen do spread out a couple of receivers. They've got a single receiver split out on each side so far in their opening sets. And looking at their season statistics, it almost seems like they're token receivers. They don't get the ball a whole lot. They do love to run the ball.
No, and they've only attempted 26 passes in 4 games, so I'm not anticipating a high-powered, play action game, being an impact. That said, they do have a couple of guys who can really move. And Sarnas has come out of the backfield. He's got 4 catches. He's got 50 yards. So when you start looking at those 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s, I don't think they're going to be afraid to put it in the air, but it's definitely not how they like to run their offense.
And what's impressive about that 2-headed rushing attack is Sarnas has run for an average of 10 yards, over 10 yards a carry. Rosario over 8 yards a carry.
The senior runner is 5'9". He's 140 pounds, but he can move. Here's the snap from the 46-yard line. It goes up the middle, just off the guard there. It's going to be about a 7-yard gain. So by giving them that first down, they've gained a little momentum here, and now we're looking at second and we'll call it a short 4 yards here.
And that was the sophomore Rosario running it just under his average.
So as the Flash's defense, they're subbing pretty liberally here to start this game. We're seeing a lot of linemen run on and off the field. Other than that first play when they had to bring a few guys off, you've seen substitutions on every single play. So they're looking to keep that front fresh against this running attack. Nice tackle there. Meets him at the line, nearly at the line to gain. Going to be curious to see if we get a measurement here or just a call.
That was James Drysdale who led the way. It's going to be really close. They flipped the marker to third down, and I don't see any action towards a measurement. It looks like it's maybe 12 inches short based on where the flags are.
Drysdale, the 5'10", 225-pound senior, has led the Flashes in tackles over the course of the last 3 years. He is a dominant force in this game, and the players really feed off his energy. 3 wide receiver set here. They are going to try to roll out a little bootleg play here by Jake Mazziotti, and it goes nowhere. As a matter of fact, he is taken down in the backfield on third down, bringing up now a 4th and 5.
And that was a fantastic play by Ethan Senderling, who in that 3-4 defense is an outside linebacker who plays like a D end. And he was hugging the line of scrimmage. He was ready for that outside run, and he was not getting past Ethan Senderling.
You know, the Flashes weren't really set up in a dramatic stack the box, cram the line. They easily could have snuck that for the first down. They needed less than a foot. Instead, they try a little naked bootleg, and there was nowhere to go. Punt formation here for the Minutemen. It looks like they're going to send this one the other way. Flag is in the air as the ball is in the air. Senderling is going to muff this punt inside the 10, picks it up, and is going to be tackled at about the 12-yard line. So the St. Joseph Academy Flashes are going to take over against Cocoa Beach for their first possession. 8:23 to go in the first quarter. No score on the board, and the ball is going to be placed at the 12-yard line while we wait for the results of the flag.
And fortunately, the flag has been waved off, so that's a potentially a really good break for the Flashes, because a 5-yard penalty there probably would have been enough for the first down if the Flashes had been offsides.
It sure would not have made for a fun huddle had 2 penalties erased what could have been 2 turnovers. So here we go. The Flashes taking the field. One of the best players on the field, number 4, Dylan Thibault. He has been incredible all year long. Showed his skill with his legs last week in a really tight game against Oak Hall. He was the difference. Ran for 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. One of those went for 43 yards, but he's also got a great arm, and he's been impressive all year long. Flashes line up in a little I formation. They're going to give it to Drysdale, who works his way up the middle, and he's going to pick up 9 on first down.
And I suspect that we're going to see a lot of this from the Flashes. When you have a team that's only dressing 20, you better believe that there's going to be a lot of players running 2 ways. And so if you can pound the interior of that defense and make them stay on the field, that's the recipe for a victory, especially come third and fourth quarter when teams start to wear down.
And Flash's offensive coordinator, Brian Newhouse, knows it. He's got 3 wide receivers in this set, but this one's going to go to Drysdale. He's got a lot of room around the left side. Cuts this one back at the hash mark. He's across the 40, out to the 45-yard line. A 22-yard run by the senior.
And you know, Todd, we've said it all year long. James Drysdale is not a fun guy to tackle when you've got a full tank of gas. As the game wears on, he just wears you down. He punishes you. He doesn't run. He punishes both sides of the ball.
He's 225 pounds. He squats twice that, and the kid loves to run the football. So here we go. The Flashes come back out here. I see Will Karn and Mac Tibbetts out at the wide receiver. 3 running backs in the backfield. New formation here. A little busted play in the backfield. Thibault is going to keep it, and he's going to pick up 6 yards on first down, getting the ball across the 50 and for the first time into Minutemen territory.
And we've seen this new formation. Brian Newhouse is not afraid to throw in wrinkles every week. But the first 3 plays, we saw a running back on either side of Thibault and then a running back behind him as well. I don't know that I've seen that formation exactly like that. It's almost like a T, but a lowercase t instead of a capital T.
We're redefining offensive football here at St. Joseph Academy. 3 wide receiver set here, 2 split out wide to the left, 1 to the right. T-Bolt's going to fake the pitch and roll out to the right. Shakes off an attempted sack. He's going to throw a nice pass caught by Sam Ryan inside the 40-yard line. What a play by the junior wide receiver.
And 2 plays in a row, we've seen the craftiness of Dylan T-Bolt. Both plays really should have been losses in the backfield for the Flashes, but Dylan was slippery enough to be able to get away and turn a loss into a nice 7-yard gain on first down, and then slipped away from a would-be tackler and threw a beautiful ball to Ryan there.
Grant Fortner, the freshman phenom, is not available tonight. He's got an injured foot. So you're going to see a lot of Sam Ryan. And right now, this Minutemen defense is seeing a lot of James Drysdale. He takes the handoff up the middle and goes for 9 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and 1 from the 30-yard line. There's no score in this game. We are at the 5:57 mark in the first quarter. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes and Cocoa Beach, no score at this time. But the Flashes are knocking on the door of the red zone here. Here's that fancy 3-back formation again. T-Bolt in the shotgun. 2 receivers split out wide. He's going to fake the handoff up the middle. A nice block by Drysdale, which gives T-Bolt a chance to hit a streaking Sam Ryan for a score. He takes the slant and go, catches it inside the 20, and does the rest himself. Touchdown Flashes, 6 points on the board with 5:30 to go in the first quarter.
And we see yet another thing that we're able to accomplish with that backfield. James Drysdale, you said it. There was a blitzing linebacker who had a beeline for Dylan T-Bolt, and James stepped up and stopped him in his tracks.
It was a great block, and it's always great when your skill players are willing to block for their teammates, and Drysdale did it there. Ryan, after that long touchdown run, regroups and kicks the extra point. It's the Flashes 7, the Cocoa Beach Minutemen 0. We're going to step away for our first break of the evening. You're listening to Flashes Football on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes have taken a 7-0 lead over the Cocoa Beach Minutemen here at the midway point of the first quarter. The Flashes just attempted we'll call it a modified onside kick here. The ball is going to get just across the 50-yard line, and Cocoa Beach is going to take over at their own 49. We saw a couple of things out of the Minutemen in that first drive. We saw what we expected, which were runs by Ryan Sarnas and Alan Rosario. I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. But we also saw something unique. They've got a 2-quarterback system. So we saw number 12, Jake Mazziotti, run out there at quarterback for 2 or 3 plays, and also number 15, Joey Putnall, was out there as well. We'll keep an eye on that over the course of the night. I will tell you, based on the stats, Putnall is much more likely to run than Mazziotti is, but they've actually thrown an equal number of passes on the season. They have an equal number of completions. Neither has thrown for a touchdown. Both has thrown 3 interceptions on the season, and they only differ in yards by 4 yards. Quite the split they've got going on right here. It's Mazziotti out there right now with 2 wide receivers, 2 backs, and a man in motion. This one's going to go to Zarnis, who cuts it back, takes a hit from Drysdale, but is tackled by a whole host of Flashes there. Drysdale ends up at the bottom of the pile. Everybody's up. It's a gain of 4 on first down.
And of course, it's still early in the game, and the Minutemen are going to do everything they can to continue to establish that rushing attack. But the way to beat a team who runs heavy is to get up on them. And if we can get up by 2 or 3 scores and force them to do what they're uncomfortable with, this could be a blowout.
Here's the snap here. They're going to give this one to the fullback, Rosario, who is going to gain about 6 yards to the outside on the right, and he's going to get enough. They are in Flash's territory. They're at the 40-yard line, and they'll get a new set of downs.
And even on a play which isn't a great play for the Flashes, giving up a 6-yard gain and a first down, you love to see 6, 7 gold jerseys swarming to the ball and pushing backwards 2 or 3 yards after first contact.
And the gold jerseys are new for the Flashes. So interesting story that occurred earlier today. The Flashes did a fundraiser over the summer in order to raise enough money to get a new set of jerseys. The players picked these out. They've been really excited about them, but they were delayed in shipping. Well, they've been asking every week for the last 3 weeks, are they here, are they here? And the coaches have been telling them no, but they've been saving them for tonight. So the players came out in the field in pregame warm-ups in their all-black uniforms, ready to roll. When they got back to the weight room for their final meeting before taking the field, there were the jerseys laid out for them. They got a chance to put them on right there. And from what I understand, they were quite excited. So they take the field tonight, black pants, gold jerseys, and the matte black helmets against the Minutemen, who are in black pants, white jerseys, and red helmets. They'll be working from right to left on your radio dial. Quick pitch to the outside to Zaris, and he is taken down in the backfield by number 24, James Drysdale.
Boy, they had 2 rushing fakes there, either of which would have gone for positive yardage. And then the third was actually a pitch out, and that one went nowhere.
You know, you don't want to outthink yourself when you're out there as a young quarterback. You're trying to get your reads. Your coaches have given you a couple of tells. If the linebacker steps up, don't give it to the fullback. If the DN pinches in, look for the quick pitch. What I don't think he recognizes against this 3-4 defense, even if that DN dives in, there's a linebacker and a corner sitting right outside. That inside linebacker was James Drysdale. Here we go. The first throw of the night, a lofted throw down to the 15-yard line is caught, but it's caught out of bounds.
And the coverage was pretty solid there by sophomore Eli Henderson. It's a long, tall receiver that ended up coming up with the ball. Eli was definitely in the vicinity of the pass.
That receiver was number 10, Daniel Mills, the 6-foot-tall, 155-pound junior. He also is going to play a little cornerback tonight. So, you know, as we've talked about before, Brian, a lot of these guys on Cocoa Beach's team are going to be playing both ways tonight. Here it is, 3rd down and 12, and our defense looks fresh and ready to go because only 2 of those guys are actually going to be playing offense. Here's the snap and the rollout. They're going to throw it again, lofted up in the air, and caught. Caught by number 11, P.J. Sullivan, who broke the initial tackle and takes the ball down inside the 20-yard line. That was a pop and not a wrap by the defensive back.
And it was also some pretty sloppy coverage. That was a really big cushion that we gave with the cornerback on that side. We were easily 12 yards off the ball. It was kind of a fluttering pass. It looked like it wasn't a great snap. Ethan Senderling was in there to cause some pressure. There's really no excuse to give up a big play like that on 3rd and long when you know that there's a good chance they're going to be throwing.
Well, and I'll give him credit, but it's a little frustrating to know that was P.J. Sullivan's first catch of the year. Here's a Rosario run. He breaks the first tackle of Sam Ryan, but Sam Ryan, along with a host of teammates, looks like led by number 10, Eli Henderson. They're going to take him down, but that's going to be another first down. The ball's going to move inside the 10-yard line. And while the Flashes lead Cocoa Beach 7-0 with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, all of a sudden, the Minutemen have something going, and they are goal to go from the 8-yard line.
And you can tell Rosario runs with such a low center of gravity. He's a squat guy with thick legs. He can't be more than 5'7".
He's 5'8", 175 pounds, which happen to be the measurements of your play-by-play announcer. So we're not going to call him squat. But here goes Rosario again, who's going to take this one inside the 5. He goes off tackle to the right side. And now we've got 2nd and goal from what appears to be the 3-yard line.
And your color commentator hasn't seen 175 pounds since college.
Well, we've both probably shared a little bit too much information, but I'll say this. With 2:23 to go, Cocoa Beach inside the 5-yard line, second down and goal, down 7-0 to the Flashes. Mazziotti still in at quarterback. He's going to give this one. The ball is on the ground. It's a fumble. The handoff went to Zarnes, and he never grabbed it. But fortunately for the Minutemen, he falls right back down on it. Ball's now going to be marked at, looks like about the 3.5, we'll call it the 3.5-yard line here.
And I'm not sure that play was going anywhere anyway. Our defensive end, Michael Mugford, who's had a terrific season so far, had outstanding penetration there, and he had the runner in the backfield either way.
So here we go. 3rd and goal to go. 2 running backs in the backfield, 1 wide receiver. The handoff goes up the middle to Rosario, but the Flashes defense was ready for the dive play and stuffs them.
Not much doubt, well, at least in my mind, that they'll be going for it here. Now, they do bring 3 new players in. We don't know a lot about their kicking game, but you got to think with momentum the way it is that on 4th and 1, this would be a time you wanted to punch it in.
Sean Westner, their kicker, number 7, has had a pretty good season, 4 of 5 on the year, but no way they're kicking here. They line up in a bunch formation here, everybody tight to the line. Mazziotti hands this one to Zarnes, who's going to be stopped at the line. He doesn't make it in. And on 4th down, the Flashes defense comes up big, and it's a turnover on downs.
And that was maybe a big sign of things to come. That was power on power. And it's got to be pretty demoralizing to drive the ball down the field and find out that when the chips are on the table, you can't get it through the middle.
And at the same time, exhilarating for this Flashes team. They hold a 7-0 lead with just seconds to play in the first quarter. They're going to head out onto the field with not a lot of room to work. As a matter of fact, this ball is going to be snapped into the end zone because they got to about the 6-inch line there. With that final spot, the Flashes have 2 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and senior quarterback Dylan T-Bolt in the shotgun here. Here's the snap. It's going to go to Drysdale, who bounces and spins off the first 2 tacklers and gets it out to the 4-yard line.
And they haven't been able to even slow down James Drysdale so far, so it's not at all surprising that the Flashes would try and get themselves out of the hole in the end zone by trying to run James straight up the middle.
We are inside 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The Flashes will have the ball 2nd and 6 here. They've got a 7-0 lead, and there is a whistle on the field and appears to be an injury timeout.
Might be blood.
Drysdale jogging off the field looking at his elbow. Doesn't seem to be in any pain, so you might be right. Trainer Isabella Collins runs over there to meet him. Freshman Greg Allen comes in at running back, and he's going to get off the left side and get this one out to the 10-yard line. A nifty little stutter step out the line of scrimmage, kicked it outside, and picked up about 4 yards, bringing up 3rd and about 1.
And it does look like some type of a cut or a scrape on the left elbow of James Drysdale. The trainer's pulling out some good old-fashioned Band-Aids for that one. Fortunately, it's at the end of the quarter, so we'll have time to attend to that.
At the end of the first quarter, the St. Joseph Academy Flashes have 7. Cocoa Beach is yet to score. We're going to step away for 30 seconds while you enjoy a little word from our sponsors. Don't go away. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights and Flashes football here on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. Dylan T-Bolt, the senior quarterback, has taken the snap. He's gone off the left side, and look at him go. The 30, the 40, he's across midfield. They're not going to get him. He's going to go 90 yards for a touchdown. What a run by the senior quarterback.
Now, I sure hope that this is an accident, but there's a flag that came out at the 41-yard line of the Minutemen. Dylan T-Bolt was already 5 yards past the nearest Minuteman defender. The ref that threw the flag continued running all the way down to the end zone and doesn't seem to be in a hurry to pick it up. It's possible it slipped out of his pocket. He's headed back that way now.
So there's 13 points on the board right now. We are just inside the start of this half. Senior quarterback Dylan T-Bolt has just gone 90 yards for a touchdown, and they have waved off the flag, so it's going to stand. What a run by the senior quarterback. You know, there wasn't much to the start of the play. He snapped the ball. There was no fake. Casually rolled out to the left side, and there was nobody there. He made one move, and then it was a foot race down the sideline to the point that he actually switched hands with the ball midway through the run to keep it away from the one guy that was anywhere close to him.
And that's a consequence of the punishing rushing between the tackles attack of James Drysdale. They had 8 men on the box, and they all were ready to stop James Drysdale on third and less than a yard, which left a lot of space on the perimeter for Dylan T-Bolt.
And credit to Dylan. He saw it, he read it, and he played it to perfection. I got to tell you, it's always an announcer's dream to get a chance to actually call out yard markers all the way down the field. You don't get a lot of 90-yard runs like that. That was a lot of fun.
And the ref, I think, is breathing heavy. I believe that's what happened, is that he was running, trying to halfway keep up with Dylan T-Bolt, and he just lost his flag.
You know, that's got to be a little frustrating for them, and I can't imagine that they enjoy ever having to pick up a flag and wave it off. Our officials work so hard out here, and look, everybody watching sports has moments when they get frustrated with our officials, but the reality is these guys are out here working hard so that all of our athletes get a chance to play. We appreciate what they do, and right now, each of them is as surprised as I am that on the first play of the second quarter, Dylan T-Bolt goes 90 yards, and the Flashes now lead 14-0 after the Sam Ryan point-after attempt is good. The Flashes now line up 11:43 to go in the second quarter to kick this one back off, up 14-0.
And I'm going to have our historian here, James Cook, check on us to see if that 99.5-yard drive might be the longest in Flashes history.
Kickoff goes down inside the 5-yard line to Zarnes, who fumbles the ball initially, but gets up and runs it out, ends up with a nice return out to the 21-yard line. James Cook has just informed us that, to our knowledge, that was in fact the longest drive in Flash's history, and I can confirm that that was the longest run in Dylan T-Bolt's career as a Flash. I imagine in the backyard he had a couple of 99-yard runs, but never in the middle of a high school football game against a perennial 5A power.
Well, this is already turning out to be a season to remember for Dylan T-Bolt. He's been such a committed member of the team. He works so hard in the offseason and has been such a leader for the team. It's great to see all of that hard work bear fruit this year.
Jake Mazziotti, the junior quarterback, takes the snap. He's going to roll this one out to the left and does not pitch it, tries to spin away, and he's going to get hit hard by Michael Mugford, number 77. The junior joined the Flashes football team last year, and he has really blossomed this year as a D lineman.
Michael Mugford actually tackled him forward for the 3-yard gain that he had, but it was still a hard hit nonetheless.
So we anticipated Mazziotti and Putnell to be splitting snaps, but it's been all Mazziotti here in the latter part of the first quarter and now on into the second. The official is actually chatting with a couple of players inside the Minutemen huddle and is going to call the action back into play. So the Flashes lead Cocoa Beach 14-0, 10:50 to go in the second quarter. Head coach Brandon Tidwell is also the D coordinator, and he's got the Minutemen's number as this run to the right side yields about half a yard. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for Cocoa Beach.
And that was Rosario was just sandwiched between Sam Ryan and James Drysdale. That couldn't have been comfortable. The Flashes are fired up right now, and the Flashes have not been a team that has been a quick starting team. They've been a team that's taken a while to get heated up and then really poured it on in the third quarter. So this is a terrific sign for the Flashes to show so much life so early.
And that was a topic of conversation with Coach Tidwell this week. He'd look to mix up the routine a little bit in order to get them started faster. Ooh, this screen pass is nearly intercepted twice by the Flashes. Read perfectly by outside linebacker Ethan Senderling, who tipped it, and Christian Cass almost came up with the pick. Apparently, the big change for tonight was getting these guys into these gold jerseys, and they have come out on fire.
And that was an unusual formation for the Minutemen. We actually had trips on the right side, and we had a single receiver on the left, and then the back motioned out. So it was the first obvious passing formation that they've showed, but the Flashes were ready for it.
21 Ethan Senderling standing at his own 43-yard line as the Minutemen prepare to punt. Looks like 24, Mr. Branham, the 6'2", 205-pound punter, skies this one, and Senderling's going to fair catch it at the 45-yard line where the Flashes will take over. 1st and 10, up 14-0 over Cocoa Beach. There are 9 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the second quarter. And Brian, as the guys get ready to take the field, what are you anticipating or what are you hoping to see as the Flashes come back out on this next drive?
I think you continue to pound the football between the tackles with Drysdale and mix it up by sending Dylan T-Bolt around the outside. That's worked so far, and if you can wear this defense down and go up by a third score in the second quarter, it's going to be a steep uphill climb for the Minutemen.
Number 11, Patrick Lane, along with Greg Allen are in the backfield, along with a newcomer in the backfield in Leo Hyde. But Patrick Lane is going to take this handoff, work his way around the right side, and gain 14 yards on first down. A really nice run by the junior, who has emerged over the course of the last 2 weeks as an offensive threat.
Now, I didn't see what you saw. That was Leo Hyde in the backfield.
It is. I was informed of the number change and the position change just before the game, and I was told 2 or 3 weeks ago that Leo had gotten a couple of reps at wide receiver. He was pretty excited about it. When I saw him this morning wearing the number 40 jersey instead of the number 60 jersey, I inquired, and to be honest, wasn't sure I believed him when he said he'd be playing fullback tonight. T-Bolt fires this one to the outside. That's going to be caught by Kent Hill, who stumbles down inside the 5. What a catch by the freshman wide receiver. Dylan T-Bolt still not sure how that wasn't a touchdown.
And Hill just lost his balance. It was a beautiful throw, maybe 6 inches shorter, and it would have hit Hill perfectly in stride, but a great catch.
A pretty throw by T-Bolt and a nice catch by Kent Hill. The handoff's going to go to Greg Allen, who's going to be met in the backfield and brought down at the 5-yard line. He's going to lose 2. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 5. Greg Allen is a promising young running back who joined us this year, 9th grader from I believe Palm Coast, Florida. So a lot of big runs in his future. We saw a little bit of that at the end of the Oak Hall game when he got some opportunities in a 28-6 ball game. He's going to get a little breather right now. It is Hyde, Allen, and Drysdale in the backfield. Looks like Karn and Hill split out wide. This one's going to go to James Drysdale, who is going to drive his way into the end zone, carrying 3 Minutemen with him as he goes. Touchdown Flashes. It's 20-0 St. Joe's over Cocoa Beach.
And Greg Allen has been a key to the Flashes' success, not so much for what he's done with the ball, but for the fact that he's been an effective replacement for James Drysdale. And so one of the reasons that James, who plays both sides of the ball and plays almost the entire game, is able to stay so fresh in the fourth quarter is that Greg Allen spells him every 3 drives or so.
Sam Ryan with the point after attempt. It is up and it is good. So the Flashes put 21 points on the board in the first 15 minutes of the game. They lead 21-0. We're going to step away for just a moment. We'll be right back on Friday Night Lights. You're listening to Flashes Football on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. It's a big night for the St. Joseph Academy Flashes as they take on 5A Cocoa Beach. They lead 21 to nothing with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. The Flashes just scored on a 5-yard touchdown run by James Drysdale, following up an impressive start to the second quarter with a 90-yard run by senior quarterback Dylan Thibault. It has been an entertaining game thus far on this beautiful night here in St. Augustine. The Flashes just kicked back off to the Minutemen, who returned the nice kickoff, actually, by Sam Ryan out to the 30-yard line. So here we go. This is one of those times where if the Minutemen are going to stay in this game, this becomes a huge drive for them. They have got to try to get some of this momentum back.
Absolutely. And we just saw something we haven't seen much of this season, and that was the Flashes kicking it deep. We've seen so many of those onside kicks or almost onside kicks that go 5 or 10 yards past the onside kick line. And Sam Ryan's got a deep leg for it. I think they've sometimes been afraid of some of the playmaking possibilities in the backfield of the kick return team. But up 21, I guess they decided, hey, what the heck?
Well, and Ryan Sarnas, who is the deep back there, is a dangerous runner. But they took a shot. They're going to give this one to Rosario up the middle once again for a gain of about 3 yards. You know, this is 2 weeks in a row that we faced off with a team, actually 3 weeks in a row, if you really think all the way back to the St. Francis game, where we've played a team that is a run-dominant team, and ultimately our strength is stopping the run. And so I'm going to be really interested to see what happens as this game moves on. If we start to see some adjustments on the Cocoa Beach sideline, not only are they down 21-0 to the St. Joseph Academy Flashes, but they haven't really moved the ball on the ground in chunks. They've had 1 or 2 runs that have picked up 6-7 yards, but you haven't seen any big runs. And here's the junior quarterback with a pass. That one's out. Threw it about 20 yards, but that was about 5 yards too far for his wide receiver. So as we talk about it, there's the throw. It's 3rd down and 8 here for the Minutemen. Again, it'll be interesting to see if this passing game can get anything going.
And it's a challenging spot for the Minutemen to be in, down 21, because their bread and butter is the run, and they like to run it between the tackles. And you hate to give up on that from the Minutemen's perspective, but you got to start putting up some points, and the interior run hasn't been working too well.
Well, an offensive coordinator, Dan Higgins for Cocoa Beach, is looking at that play sheet right now, and he appears a little frustrated. Empty backfield here for the Minutemen. They're going to throw it again. A lofted throw, and that is Christian Kess in coverage. He's going to knock that one away. I think he had a better shot at that ball than Sullivan did.
He absolutely did. He was the deeper receiver, and the ball was bent in towards the middle of the field, which was actually where Christian was covering from. So the receiver didn't have much chance at that at all.
So 4th down and 8 yards to go, and the punting team is back on the field. Senderling is going to go back to the 40-yard line once again, and the Flashes defense comes up with another big stop.
This game couldn't have started much better for the Flashes.
A rugby-style kick there by the sophomore punter is going to roll down to about the 31-yard line. And that's where the Flashes will take over. So there are 6 minutes and 52 seconds to go in this first half. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead 21-0 over Cocoa Beach. And again, my surprise tonight is not that we're in the lead, because these Flashes have played so well over the course of the year. But this was one of the games that when the schedule was put together back in the spring, this was supposed to be one of those measuring stick games. This was supposed to be a challenge for this team so they could continue to grow. And right now, it's hard to believe that they've come far enough where this is the result. So it's exciting to see.
Well, the Flashes have exceeded expectations in every aspect of the season so far. And I think people in the Flash Nation, as I like to call it, are beginning to get the feel that this is a special team, that we've got some special talents, and with Drysdale and Thibault being such a big part of such a dynamic offense, and both of them being seniors who have been mainstays of the program for years, I think there's a growing feeling of this is the year to make our mark. As much as Coach Tidwell is building a program, this has the makings of a special year.
It certainly does. The Flashes were called for a holding penalty on that return. They're going with a 4 wide receiver set and an H-back right now. Drysdale coming in motion. They're going to give it to him. Actually, no, he faked it. And look at T-Bolt go. Another run for the senior quarterback and a 12-yard gain and a first down. He fooled me on that one. I thought he gave it to the motion man, James Drysdale. He pulled it out at the last second and kept it up the middle.
And if that was a read option play, and I think it was a beautiful read by T-Bolt because the defensive end on the right side of the defense stepped up and was in perfect position to hit James. That doesn't mean he would have tackled him, but to hit James behind the line of scrimmage. But instead, T-Bolt picks up a first down by making the right read.
So here we go. 4 wide receiver set. Drysdale in the backfield with T-Bolt. T-Bolt's going to swing this one to the outside to Sam Ryan, who is going to be wrestled out of bounds just past the first down marker. He gains 11 on first down. You know, that screen pass has been something that as we've watched T-Bolt grow as a quarterback, that was a ball he either threw too hard or too low in the first couple of years of his career. He's really worked at making those simple throws easy instead of being hard for him. And there he hits Sam Ryan, who, again, taking over for Grant Fortner tonight, is really making his mark. Another first down, and here we go. 4 wide receivers set again. They are going to give this one to Drysdale, and he's got some room off the left side. A big collision at the 40-yard line, but a gain of 16 yards and another flashes first down.
You know, on the previous play, Todd, the pass was perfect, but it wasn't just the pass. It was the way he set up the pass with a perfect fake handoff to Drysdale. He had the ball in James's belly and pulled it out at just the right instant for the defense to bite on the fake, and that opened up the outside passing route.
And again, that's the maturity of the young quarterback who takes the snap here. He rolls out, fires this one to the outside. He had a nice under route there. I believe that was number 11, Patrick Lane. Makes a nice grab and gains 9 yards on first down.
And we don't often call out the offensive linemen who are so important for the success of this offense. Nicholas Mikos, a sophomore on the right side of that offensive line, rolled out right in front of Dylan T-Bolt, and he was just enough of a presence to hold the crashing defender to allow Dylan to have the time to make a good pass.
And he absolutely did. He threw another great ball. The Flashes now have the ball 2nd and 1 at the 32-yard line. T-Bolt lines this one up, throws just over the head of Kent Hill, who was streaking down the sideline. He had a step on the corner, but that ball was thrown just a little bit too far.
And I want to throw another shout out to the offensive line because Dylan T-Bolt was able to drop back in the pocket, and the line held every rusher at bay. T-Bolt had plenty of time to deliver a throw to an open man. Just happened to miss by a little bit, but I think we're starting to realize that we can get those plays down the field.
So 3rd down and short here. 4:50 to go in the first half. The Flashes are up 21-0 over Cocoa Beach. 2 wide receivers split out wide to the left, notably number 82, Kent Hill. T-Bolt is going to take the snap, and he is going to be taken down in the backfield. That looked like a designed run from the start, and there was nowhere to go. That's going to bring up the first decision of the night for the Flashes. I see 85 Sam Ryan jogging back out on the field. He is both either that 5th wide receiver, but he's also the kicker. But I'm not sensing any interest in a field goal attempt here. The ball is set at the 34-yard line. This would be a 51-yarder. That is a little outside Ryan's range. We saw him hitting him from 43 and 44 in pregame warmups, but they're going for it on 4th, and we'll call it a short 4. T-Bolt and Drysdale in the backfield. T-Bolt looks over to offensive coordinator Brian Newhouse, and he's going to call timeout, and we're going to take a timeout here. We'll be back on Friday Night Lights here on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7 in just a moment. Don't go away.
Is that supposed to be on or off?
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. Right as we came back on the air, a quick pitch to the outside to number 24, James Drysdale. He worked his way all the way to the sideline, cut it back, ran a man over as he always seems to do, and picks up enough for the first down. Drysdale is coming into the season. He was the featured player on this offense. He's 5'10", maybe 5'11". He's 225 pounds. He runs a legit 4.6, and he loves to play football. He's got a couple of schools after him, 2 D1 offers already, more as an inside linebacker than as a running back. This quick pass to the outside is going to go to Will Karn. That's going to be caught and taken down to the 12-yard line. You know, Drysdale has made so many good things happen for this team over the course of the last 4 years. But as he takes a quick breather and Will Karn makes the catch, he is another one of these young flashes who is primed to take over for the future as head coach Brandon Tidwell builds this program. 2 wide receivers split out wide to the right, 1 man to the left. It's Greg Allen in the backfield. This is a little fade to the back of the end zone, and just out of bounds.
Boy, it looked like he got a foot in from up here, but of course the ref was right there and had a vantage point that we simply don't have.
It most certainly did, and we are quite far away from that play, not as far away as some of our listeners. You know, we're bringing to this game live on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7, but of course we also have our internet broadcast both on StAugustineRadio.com and on YouTube. Got some special listeners in Chicago tonight, and a very special family watching this game out in Frisco, Texas. Hope you guys are enjoying the game. Dylan T-Bolt is going to take this snap, fire it to the outside, just incomplete at the 5-yard line. They're really trying to get number 82, Kent Hill, involved and just can't connect right now.
Well, and that was the first time all night that Dylan T-Bolt has had any kind of pressure whatsoever. Really love the offensive approach. The offense is humming. You can see that the players are playing with confidence, that the coaches are coaching with confidence. And even here at 3rd and 10, I think they believe that they're going to pick this up.
So here we go, 3rd and 10. T-Bolt rolls out to the right. He's got an under route here, but he throws this one in the end zone. And a miscommunication there with his receiver because there was nobody there. Looked like the intended target was number 7, Mac Tibbetts. Mac kind of ran a post there, and I think he expected him to be right there at the goal post. Excuse me, I'm looking at the G right down there on the field, which I'm trying to create as its own landmark here. So the Flashes are going to line up right now at the 12-yard line, and they are going to take the points here and go for the field goal. Ball is set at the 13, so you got a 30-yard field goal by junior kicker Sam Ryan, number 85. Good kicker number in high school. Here's the snap, the kick, it's up, and it is good. So the Flashes will go up 24-0 over Cocoa Beach with 2:40 to go in the first half. We're going to step away for just a moment here as we come back to wrap up the first half. You're listening to Friday Night Lights and Flashes football on WSOS 103.9. The kickoff by Sam Ryan is a high kick down to the 22-yard line. That's going to be caught, but a whistle on the play is going to blow this one dead. I think they're going to re-kick it. I'm not sure the officials were ready for that kickoff.
Officials holding a flag in his hand. I'm wondering if it was offsides on the Flashes.
Looks like it might be because they are now setting the tee back at the 35-yard line.
they start the run up almost 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so it may have just been that somebody got a little enthusiastic and crossed the line before the ball was kicked.
Flashes lead 24 to nothing, 2:38 to go here in the second quarter. St. Joseph Academy over Cocoa Beach. Sam Ryan getting ready to kick this one off, and again, this one is going to be whistled dead. Head coach Brandon Tidwell looking back over at the sideline, and one of the officials looking at him. But now we are ready to go. Sam Ryan with the run up and the kick. It's a squibber that bounces right off of an up man there. That was actually offensive lineman number 75, Brady Lockwood, the 6'2", 270-pound junior.
And he was standing at the 50-yard line about almost 15 yards back from the line of scrimmage. It looked like maybe the Minutemen didn't move their front line up there after the penalty. I don't think it was intended to be an onside kick. I think it was intended to be a squib that goes through the first line of defense, but the big lineman made a heads-up play and knocked it down and then fell on it and saved 10 yards for the Minutemen.
So here we go. The Minutemen looking to mount a challenge here. They're going to give this one once again to Rosario up the middle, but there is nowhere to go. Little frustration setting in there for the sophomore running back. Looked a little frustrated after flipping the ball back to the official. You know, this rushing offense has been successful. He's averaging almost 8 yards a carry over the course of the season, and he's gotten that on 2 or 3 runs, but I have to imagine his average is closer to 2 or 3 tonight.
I think so. And the clock is becoming more and more of a factor. We're at 2:10 now, and 50 yards to go. They're going to have to pick up the pace or make some big plays.
Well, here's that first big play effort. Pitching this out to number 24, Jay Branham, who really didn't have much going there. It wasn't really a reverse, but he came in motion and kind of, we'll use one of Coach Newhouse's terms, he orbited around the quarterback briefly and then took the pitch. In the end, it's a loss of 1. It's 3rd down and 11.
And the key for the Flashes is that the ball remained in bounds. So he was trying to get to the outside, never turn the corner, and the clock is all the way down to 1:35, still running, and they haven't broken out of the huddle yet.
Play clock is just inside 15 seconds, and the Flashes are going to get the ball to start the second half. Momentum certainly in their favor. The Minutemen looking to gain something here, but this one's going to be whistled dead. Now, a man moved on the left side of the line. That was offensive tackle, I believe, Brady Lockwood. I'm not sure that if this was the NFL that we wouldn't have gotten called for kind of inducing that, because one of our D linemen kind of shivered there right before the snap, which may have drawn him off sides. But either way, the call is going to go against the Cocoa Beach Minutemen. The ball's now going to be set all the way back at their own 44-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 16 yards. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead 24 to nothing, 1:16 to play in the first half. It's been an interesting one so far for the Flashes. This defense has been absolutely fantastic. The offense has been spectacular. This is a big night.
Big night and a couple of big plays here. 24-0 at halftime would be huge. The Minutemen showed their hand a little bit there. That was a play action pass, and I think it was designed to go up to the sideline to the big receiver Mills, who was in man-to-man coverage with Eli Henderson on the defensive left side. We'll see if they try something similar again, but I would guess this is going to be a pass play.
And so as the Minutemen line up here on this 3rd and quite long, only 2 wide receivers in the set. They are going to roll him out to the right. He's going to loft this one, and that's going to be incomplete. That was Eli Henderson in coverage, intended for number 10, Daniel Mills, the 6', 155-pound junior.
And that was the guy I think they wanted to go when the penalty was called. And really what blew that up was Sam Ryan, the left outside linebacker, blitzing from the left side, got in the quarterback's face and forced him to throw without setting his feet quicker than he wanted to, and as a result, the ball was underthrown.
You know, and the thing about Mazziotti, I saw him in warm-ups, and he threw the ball pretty well, but a lot of air on just about every pass that he throws. A little rainbow effect, which unfortunately he's had a couple of receivers open, but just been unable to connect. This one's going to be punted away and caught by Senderling at his own 20. He's going to try to return this one. He picks up 10, now 15. Now he's at 20 yards, and look at him go. He's across midfield. But there is a flag down way back at the 24-yard line that, if it stood, would be a 40-yard return, but I believe this one is coming back.
That flag came out almost as soon as he started running the ball. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure with a minute left that you need to run that one back. I think a fair catch and maybe just taking a knee or running a couple safe plays, and you're happy to go in with under a minute left. 24-0. But you know what? I think the offense is getting a little greedy.
Well, not only that, I think that is a young man in Ethan Senderling who's been looking for an opportunity, and he finally had a chance. He really hasn't had much of a return. He hasn't had many return lanes to run through, and so tonight when he got his chance, he's going to do it. Hey, we got a special guest in the booth here. Corporal G11, the new resource officer here at St. Joseph Academy, just popped up into the booth. We'd love to get him on the air, but every time I ask him about it, he gives me a look as if to say, I know what I am good at, and that might not be it. He says not on that, but we're thrilled to have him, G11 as he is called. Great to have him around, but you know what? He's a good Italian gentleman. Giamarinero, okay? Great last name. And for the Carbone family out in Frisco, Texas, they can appreciate and respect that name from you. So thanks for being here. Dylan Tebolt is going to roll out to the left. He finds a wide open Mac Tibbetts, who is going to catch this one at the 25, get it to the 30, and get out of bounds. What a heads-up play by the senior wide receiver.
An interesting play call there with under 20 seconds left, throwing the ball, number one, and then throwing it to Mac Tibbetts, who only has a handful of catches, if that, in his high school career being a first-year player.
That is the first one, and what was really cool about it is that he knew how to sit down in the middle of that zone, and he was wide open. 3 wide receivers here and an H-back. Drysdale in the backfield. Little middle screen here to Drysdale, and oh my goodness, does he have room? Look at him streak down the sideline, runs a man over at the 30 and goes down at the 25. What a play by Drysdale, showing the speed there from the 225-pound senior.
And I misread the clock. From our vantage point, there's a big pole that blocks 1 or 2 numbers of the clock, which is now running again with under 25 seconds. Nice pick
Tebolt
up.
is going to throw this one into the end zone and again overthrows Kent Hill. They're really trying to keep the ball moving here. Surprised as we may be, the reality is you're playing a 5A program. You know there's a couple of weapons on the offensive side. They've struggled in the first half of games, and I'm sensing 2 approaches here. I think, number one, they're just going to keep going with the pedal down until it's time to stop. And at the same time, I think they're looking for some opportunities to get some of these younger players in here later in this game. So the Flashes are going to line up at the 25-yard line. We are inside a minute to play. Tebolt rolls out to the right, throws this one over the middle, in and out of the hands of Will Karn.
And that's going to bring the clock down to 9.3 seconds with a 3rd and 10. We are maybe in long field goal range right now at the 25. That would be a 42-yard. I'm sorry, it's at the 26, so it would be a 43-yard field goal for Sam Ryan, which is probably at the upper limits of his range. Not sure that we have enough time to run a play and then make a kick, so we might be going for the end zone here.
St. Joseph Academy leads 24-0 over Cocoa Beach. Tebolt rolls out to the right. We are inside a minute. He's got 2 guys chasing him down. This one's going to be complete at the 10-yard line. Can't see yet who made that catch, but I believe that was number 85, Sam Ryan.
And this is disappointing because while that is enough for a first down and the clock is stopped and we would have a chance for a field goal with 0.7 seconds left, there is a flag down and it's very close to the line of scrimmage, which almost certainly means holding on the Flashes.
So actually it appears this one is in fact against the Flashes, and they are going to be left with less than 1 second to run a play.
Well, this is where you run your Hail Mary or your double pass if you've got a trick play.
Well, I'll be curious to see if they actually have time at all, because once this ball is put into play, that clock's going to start. And you've got 0.7 seconds to go. That was an illegal man downfield was the call there. And a timeout by the Minutemen. So we're going to stay right along with you here. We've just got one play left in this first half. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes, who, if you're listening here on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7, kind of an energetic interjection, we'll say, tonight, wearing these brand new gold jerseys, the black pants and the black mat helmets. Head coach Brandon Tidwell wanted something special for this game, and not only has he put them in new jerseys, but he had something dialed up special on both sides of the ball. Really excited to see the boys playing as well as they are, but knowing that the Minutemen, who come into this game 2-2 on the year and have played some impressive competition, they're going to be looking both for pride and also just because it's who they are in the second half to pick some things up here.
And they've got 4 guys. It might be a cover 4. I don't see any of them at safety depth, but 4 guys across the back of the defensive backfield, no deeper than about 15 yards back. Not sure why the clock would have started there. The siren went off for the halftime, but the timeout should have made it a dead ball play until the ball was snapped. So I'm almost certain that they'll put 0.7 of a second back on the clock, and the Flashes will get to run one more play on 4th down.
So number 82, Kent Hill, the freshman wide receiver, 2 touchdowns in his first appearance of the season, but has not found the end zone since, is split out wide to the left. It looks like T-Bolt is going to be in the backfield with James Drysdale, and then split out wide to the right is Will Karn, Sam Ryan, and Mac Tibbetts.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. It looks like you've got almost an isolation coverage on the freshman Kent Hill. He is all of 6 feet, 6'1", and he's a big guy. It wouldn't surprise me if he just threw one up the grab for Kent Hill.
Just a quick injury note. It appears that number 11, Patrick Lane, is out of the game with an injury, shaking the hand of one of the coaches and hopping on the golf cart. So that's not a great sign for the junior.
He looks like he's got his right arm in a sling there. And Patrick has been a two-way player, a very important two-way player for the
Here's
Flashes.
the snap, throw to the outside, and look at this, the hook and ladder. A nice catch by Kent Hill. He was going to pitch it to the outside to Drysdale, who's going to go out of bounds. But that is going to end the first half. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead Cocoa Beach 24-0. We're going to step away for a little while. You can get a chance to check out some of the great music on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7 and hear a couple of words from our sponsors. We'll be back in about 7 minutes to bring you a little analysis of the first half and get you ready to go for the second half. You're listening to Flashes Football here on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7, as well as the YouTube Digital Flashes Network. We'll be right back.
Oh, sorry, CJ.
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. What a night here at Versailles Field as the St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead 24 to nothing over not the matchup we expected. We expected to come in here tonight facing a 5A power with a close, hard-fought game, but the Flashes have been incredible in the first half.
And really, it's all started on the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. We set the tone with our defense by stopping their first drive. We were able to march down the field, and really, the offense is playing at such a high level of confidence right now. We haven't been stopped. We've kicked one field goal. We really just were beat by the clock at the end of the half. But I think that there's such a tremendous feeling of belief on this team on both sides of the ball that we're just playing downhill right now.
You know, when you start talking about believing, I think it's twofold. I think number one, they believe in these senior leaders. They believe in the guys that are leading them out there on the field in James Drysdale, who had just a typical James touchdown run with one guy pulling his jersey and another guy trying to hit him in the quad and him just driving his legs through him. And then you've got senior quarterback Dylan T-Bolt, who has thrown a couple of pretty balls. He had a 40-yarder right down to the 3-yard line, and then he had a 90-yard touchdown run. They're making these huge plays, but I also think it's a second year in Brian Newhouse's offensive system. It's another year in the weight room, and Coach Tidwell has been so about the weight room and about preparing every week like it's the biggest game you've ever played that they're making great things happen.
They believe in the coaches. You said it. They believe in their senior leaders. They believe in their coaching staff. The coaching staff from year one got the buy-in of the players from top to bottom. They got the upperclassmen to be leaders. They got the freshmen to come in and understand that this is the way the culture is going to be. They bought into weightlifting. They love the coaches. They love, I don't know that they love practice, but they don't dread practice. Practice is not drudgery.
Yeah.
They enjoy going out there and they want to please the coaches, and the coaches are their biggest cheerleaders.
They are, and I think what's been cool is you've got a couple of new coaches on the staff this year. Brian Eli, who was around last year, is back this year. He's kind of your motivational guy. He's the real rah, get you fired up kind of coach. We've had a lot of fun watching our young social studies teacher, Clark McCormick, who's been coaching the special teams. I told him, I had a meeting yesterday with the coaches, kind of getting a little bit of insight into what we could expect tonight, trying to learn a little bit more about Cocoa Beach. And one of the things that I asked for is I said, at some point, we've got to see something out there on the field that's creative and dynamic and something we can refer to as the McCormick Special. And so it's coming. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be yet. I thought it may have been that initial onside kick, but they like those guys. And then you've got a couple of experienced guys who have come in and are out there to make a difference. And it's been fun to watch them play. It's been fun to watch them grow together. And on a night like tonight, it's fun to see them still coaching, even though you've got this 24-point lead.
One moment very early in the game, I think, told an incredible story for me. After the Flash's first touchdown, when we absolutely marched down the field and did nothing wrong on any play, the running game was working inside and outside, the passing game was working. After that drive was over, the Flash's sideline was up and enthusiastic, and I looked down on the bench and I saw 6 guys sitting in a row, and it was the offensive line and one sub, and the offensive line coach with a board going over blocking schemes, taking what they did the first time, adjusting, adapting, improving upon it. And Coach Newhouse came over to lend in his 2 cents, and every player was glued on the coach. It looked like an NFL sideline. It's really the highest level of football coaching that you could hope for.
And that's been one of the impressive things about this team this year, the second half adjustments. So now all of a sudden with a 24-point lead, I'm not sure what more they're going to be able to bring. Quick shout out to Paul Moss, who's the PA announcer here at St. Joseph Academy, doing a great job up on top, keeping these fans into it, because they're the other element. Okay, you've got this great crowd. The last time we were all here, it was homecoming. This place was absolutely packed. Not quite as big a crowd tonight, but you still have a lot of people out there, and you've got this PA announcer up there keeping them riled up. We're having a good time. It's a great time to be a Flash.
DJ Paul Moss, available for all weddings and other functions. Terrific guy. And it's not just St. Joe parents and fans and students that are down on the sideline. I went down at halftime to grab a drink of water, and I saw a buddy of mine who has two sons over at St. Augustine High School. And I said, hey, you thinking about moving your boys over here? One of them has played football for a few years. And he joked, and he said, well, St. Augustine's not having such a good season. And, of course, St. Augustine's on a bye week. They have struggled this year. But I jokingly, half-jokingly said back, yeah, this is the best game in town this year. And it really is. With St. Joe, and, of course, Pedro Menendez has had a terrific season as well. But St. Joe has some really special things going on this year. And I think the entire community is starting to take notice.
So as the coaches are prepping for the second half here, the players are finishing up their warm-ups. A lot of great energy out there on the field. Thrilled to see so many great things happening. It's a great time to be a Flash. These guys are playing so hard tonight. Right now I'm watching senior quarterback Dylan T-Bolt finishing up his warm-up routine, playing catch with offensive coordinator Brian Newhouse. How often do you see a quarterback and an OC out there playing catch together?
And the last throw wasn't anything that could be construed as a constructive warm-up for the game. It was a ball thrown by Coach Newhouse that went about 30 feet up in the air, almost like a punt, that Dylan T-Bolt fielded with a smile. They're all having fun out there tonight.
Offensive coordinator Brian Newhouse, a high school quarterback in his own right. Also played a little bit of college football, more on the defensive side of the ball, but he's got a great offensive mind. He's creative, and at the same time, he's always looking to have a system so that the kids are on the same page. Communication is huge, and they're really coming together as an offensive team. And for Brandon Tidwell, it is all about getting his defense prepared and aware of what the offense is going to do. And he's done a marvelous job thus far. And before we get started in the second half, one more comment. Speaking of marvelous jobs, former assistant athletic director at St. Joseph Academy, Lee McCool, has continued to help us out over the course of this year, getting the field prepped for game night. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're looking out on those perfectly done letters and that gorgeous logo in the center of the field, please give a big thanks to Lee McCool for all of us for the work that he's done. He does a great job. Big supporter of St. Joe's. Thrilled to have him as part of the Flash family.
The field looks terrific, and I think you grow accustomed to it always looking terrific, that you take it for granted. And we're going to have a
Look
touchdown.
at this. The opening kickoff. James Drysdale is going to return this one for a touchdown. Unbelievable start to the second half. Before you even knew things were going, there's Drysdale flying down the sideline, takes a knee just inside the end zone, and before you have a chance to take a deep breath, it's 30-0 St. Joe over Cocoa Beach.
And it's usually a safe strategy to kick a soft kickoff, not to the deep guys where your dangerous return guys are, but to the middle of the middle level where you can get coverage from either side and protect the sideline. But right in the middle of the kickoff return team is James Drysdale, and the ball went right into his hands. All he had to do was turn the corner, and he was gone.
That's one of those fun little statistics there. So far, James has scored on a rushing touchdown and now a return touchdown. If this were college, we'd be looking to throw him one just to get him all three. Sam Ryan converts the extra point once again. He's perfect on the night. 4 for 4 on extra points, and also made his lone field goal. It's 31-0 in favor of the Flashes as they lead in surprising fashion over 5A Cocoa Beach.
And it wouldn't surprise me for James Drysdale to get a receiving touchdown. The only thing that might stop him is that the offense has been so successful that at some point they're going to put the backups in and probably not going to be putting so much wear and tear on James as they look to pace themselves for a playoff run.
Brian Newhouse, and there's Clark McCormick, the special teams coach. Nice little blocking scheme there worked out by McCormick. That might have been the McCormick special.
We'll have to pay our regards on Monday.
So as the Flashes line up to kick this one off from their 40-yard line, Sam Ryan counting out his teammates. There are 10 of them along with him, and they are ready to go. 11:46 to go in the third quarter. 31-0 lead for St. Joe over Cocoa Beach. Here comes the kickoff, and he is going to kind of pop this one up in the air down to the 30-yard line. That is going to be caught by Rosario, and he's going to go down at the 33.
And much like St. Joe, where you don't necessarily want to kick the ball to James Drysdale, I'm not sure that Rosario is the guy you want to kick to for the Minutemen.
No, he has been their guy tonight. Coming in, we expected to see number one Ryan Zarnes as the feature back, but it's been Rosario getting the ball more often than not.
I'm looking for number 11, Patrick Lane, who left the field injured in the first half, and I'm not seeing him.
No, he has not returned tonight, nor do I see. Well, here we go. What I see right now is a quick pitch to the outside, and that is Zarnes who we see. He is going to pick up about a yard, maybe two on the play.
And when you don't see a player, we obviously don't have a locker room at a high school where players can go back and get treatment. And our trainer is on the sideline still, which makes me wonder if Patrick Lane might be getting medical treatment in an emergency room right now. Not that the injury was that serious, but that an x-ray may be in order.
Team doctor Albert Volk is down on the sidelines talking to Isabella Collins now. Minutemen line up in a two-wide receiver set. They're going to try to run the option to Zarnes. He's going to spin off the first tackle and the second and dive forward for a gain of about 3 yards, bringing up 3rd down and 6.
And he had to do a lot of what we call east to west running there to get those 3 yards. Seemed like he had to work awfully hard, including cutting it back. The Flashes continued to swarm on defense.
So the ball's sitting at the 38-yard line. It's 3rd down, and it's actually a long 5. Crowd really into it on this 3rd down. The Flashes lead 31-0 over Cocoa Beach. We are just inside the 11-minute mark. They're going to hand this one off to Rosario, and there's nowhere to go.
And the Flash that's taken Patrick Lane's spot appears to be Bryce Ortega, also a first-year football player who's gotten some time at both safety and linebacker. And, you certainly don't want to see players get injured, but it serves the team well to be able to rotate some bodies back into those positions. Patrick is a guy that plays on both sides of the ball, so he's a difficult guy to replace.
Bryce Ortega, a former member of the production crew here. Michael Tolzman and James Cook, the production staff for this evening, here inside running the camera and the computer. Katie back in the studio, keeping us live on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. And CJ Emerson keeping the whole system running well. My name is Todd. My co-host is Brian. The Flashes have just taken over on downs after a 4th down stop, a fumbled snap there. Nowhere to go but down for Cocoa Beach. Down on the ball, that is. And so here we go. 10:14 to go in the 3rd quarter. 31 points on the board. The Flashes on the sideline chatting it up. Looks like a couple of backup offensive linemen coming into the game. So really starting to see some guys that you want to get some minutes for. So I see Michael Blue and Nicholas Mikos along with Miles Ayers, all starting linemen. So the offensive line is still there. Leo Hyde in the backfield along with Greg Allen. James Drysdale is still on the sideline. This one's going to go to Allen and nowhere to go.
And that was Will Karn, who's a slot receiver that was also in the backfield in that lowercase t formation, we'll call it.
We'll have to find out from Coach Newhouse exactly what he calls that formation. He usually has some unique names that he understands exactly where they've come from. I think we call this one the Vegas formation. Vegas gold jerseys and black pants for the St. Joseph Academy Flashes. White jerseys and red helmets for the Cocoa Beach Minutemen. The Flashes line up at the Minutemen 43-yard line, second down and about 11 yards to go. T-Bolt is going to roll out to the left. He is under a lot of pressure, steps back, throws it at the feet of Will Karn and out of bounds. Smart play by the senior to throw that one away. Nothing doing on second down.
And just some tremendous, I'd say pocket awareness, but he rolled to the left, which is a difficult throw for a quarterback to throw against his body, but just awareness of the pressure. The line, as they rolled with them, did a pretty nice job of blocking without holding. We had a few looks over the right shoulder by T-Bolt as he rolled left, hoping something would open up. And then, as you said, the throw was not meant to be caught. It was a throw at Will Karn's feet. He knew that it was a throw that if it was caught would be at best no gain and might set Will up for a punishing hit from a defender who was right behind him.
Tibbetts and Karn are split out wide to the left, Hill to the right. T-Bolt is going to keep this one, heads around the left side, a nice angled run, and he's going to get the first down. A great designed run for the senior quarterback, and he has showed not only that great pocket awareness, but a lot of speed and explosiveness tonight.
And another one of the things that reveal a well-coached team are receivers blocking downfield. This time it was Will Karn in the slot receiver position. 8-10 yards down, he was still throwing a block, and Dylan T-Bolt does such a beautiful job of running behind the blocks. He doesn't need much to be able to get quite a few yards.
So the Flashes now inside the 30-yard line, 1st and 10, 8:50 to play in the second quarter. T-Bolt under a lot of pressure, but he evades the sack, fires this one downfield, and just overthrows his intended receiver, number 7, Mac Tibbetts.
And it was the slipperiness of T-Bolt that allowed that play to not be a sack. And we had not one, but actually two different levels of receivers that were open there. Again, that's a tough throw to be rolling left and then to stop and throw slightly right. Another interesting fact there, our normal center, Leo Hyde, who's wearing an eligible receivers jersey tonight, number 40, was lined up in a slot receiver. I thought with a 31-point lead that maybe we might try and work the ball to him, but he was actually covered there.
Flashes line up again in a 3 wide receiver set. It's Allen in the backfield. They are going to roll this one to the right. Leo Hyde, and actually he was the intended receiver. That one's just behind him and incomplete. He pats the chest given the my bad signal, but that would have been a tough catch.
It wasn't really his bad. The ball was low and at his right hip instead of at his chest on a lead. Dylan was throwing it on the run. It wasn't a terrible throw, but when you're throwing to a guy who's not a normal receiver, it was a nice design play, though. He was lined up as a wing back on the right side with, I believe, twins on the right, and the twins' job is to run off those defensive backs and then to slip Leo underneath, and a good throw would have had a first down.
T-Bolt drops back to pass again. Little middle screen here to Drysdale. He makes a nice move at the 15, and he's going to take this one to the pylon. It's a touchdown. He's got one on the ground. He's got one on a return, and now he's got one on a reception. And every way you can do it.
Well, actually, there's still one more way, and I wouldn't put it past James to get a pick six or a fumble return for a touchdown on defense, because he is, it seems like, around the ball wherever it is on defense.
So as the Flashes line up for the extra point, 37 points on the board, little over 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Sam Ryan has been perfect on extra points and his lone field goal of the night, and nothing changes there. Right through the uprights, it's 38-0. For those of you listening here live on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7, want to catch up on a little action around town. Ponte Vedra right now is up 10-6 over Pedro Menendez in the third quarter. Bartram Trail has a 30-8 lead over St. Augustine. And right now up at Trinity Christian, they've got a 25-6 lead over Palm Beach Lake. So a lot of interesting action going on around town. A lot of big games. And again, you're seeing some movement in the county. Bartram Trail continues to play well. St. Augustine is struggling. And a little surprised here to see Ponte Vedra up 10-6 over Pedro Menendez.
Right. And one team that is not struggling, the team that may be the class of the county right now, are your St. Joseph Academy Flashes. From the
All right,
Minutemen's perspective, they come out of the half, and obviously they spent some time game planning. How can we make some changes to be more competitive? Absolutely takes the wind out of your sails when you give up a kick return for a touchdown, are stopped in, I believe, 4 plays. I don't think they got a first down on that first drive, and then give up a long touchdown drive punctuated by a Drysdale touchdown.
squib kick here that is going to be recovered by the Minutemen and Rosario again, who returns that one to the 40-yard line. So this is that window of the game where you don't want to start calling it. You don't want to start saying, okay, we've got it, we're done, we're over. Let's go conservative on offense. Let's start emptying the bench, do all those things. And at the same time, you're thinking that way because it might be time. This Flash's defense right now, still a smattering. Actually, mostly starters out there right now. You see one or two kids out there that you don't normally see, most notably Bryce Ortega, who we know is in for injury. But I'm also seeing, kind of taking a look at the sideline here. This one's going to go to Rosario once again. They try to go for the strip there. That was Michael Mugford on the tackle. But this is that window where, again, you want to start talking about it on the sidelines, both out of respect for your opponent, but also to give these guys a chance to play in a big game.
And I think we'll see it on offense before we'll see it on defense. Coach Tidwell, the head coach, is also the defensive coordinator. And one thing about defensive coaches, especially when they're given the power of running the program, is they don't like to give up points. They want to protect that zero. And certainly that sends a message to future opponents that you got to bring your A game on offense because the Flashes are tough to score on.
They are indeed. This defense has yet to give up more than 12 points in a game this year. Here's the snap, and he is going to be taken down in the backfield right after receiving the ball. Michael Mugford with a sack.
And I'm not sure that was a design quarterback run. The quarterback seemed to hesitate before he ran it off of the right guard, but there was absolutely nothing there. And I don't think Michael Mugford's gap is the place to run because he's just been a presence all night long and really all season long.
So this crowd is staying into it and having a lot of fun, enjoying themselves out there. As we line up here, it's 3rd down and 10 for the Minutemen. Here's the snap. They're going to throw this one outside. It is a little double pass here and just incomplete. Saw that one developing. A nice throw there. That was intended for number 24, Junior Branham, who's also served as the punter tonight. It was a nice throw. He just couldn't come down with it.
And it's hard to tell what coverage the Flashes were in. I saw Coach Tidwell talking to a guy that's not usually out there, and I won't say his name out of respect. As a teachable moment, Eli Henderson crashed on the thrower, and that appeared to be his responsibility. But boy, he was wide open.
So now Branham's going to punt this ball. Ethan Senderling is going to move away from it. And this one's going to be downed at about the 20-yard line. So the Flashes are going to take back over at the 20, 1st and 10. We'll be keeping a close eye on the sideline here as we anticipate a substitution or two. Not wholesale changes. We don't necessarily have the depth to do that.
And you speak of the challenges from the Flashes side is about trying to work in the younger players, but still preserve the momentum that you get from a big victory. When you've only got 20 players-ish on the Minutemen sideline, there aren't a whole lot of options because most of those guys, I'm certain, are getting regular playing time already, and there might be a handful of younger guys that maybe physically aren't ready. It's hard to tell. There are guys sitting on their bench, and that just may be the complexion of the game, or it might be some coaching that's going on, although I don't see a coach in the vicinity. But there's probably not a whole lot of substituting that they're able to do beyond what they have been doing.
So the Flashes line up here 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Kent Hill and Mac Tibbetts, the two wideouts. Will Karn in the slot. Greg Allen in the backfield. They're going to go to Allen. He takes the handoff around the right side, picks up 10 yards in a hurry, finishes the run, and ends up gaining 15, but comes up limping on the play. But he's working his way back to the huddle and not the sideline. So,
And assuming that there's no injury to Allen, and he is still in the huddle, I think the most notable changes that we'll see, at least on this drive on offense, are more runs to Greg Allen, the young freshman. I think we might see another attempt or two to try and get Leo Hyde the ball, and maybe Mac Tibbetts, the senior.
a little bit of a fumble on the snap there. T-Bolt's going to keep it. He's picked up 10. Now he's picked up 15. Tries to cut it back, but is going to be taken down. It's a 15-yard run on first down, and another first down for the Flashes.
And,
St.
and, and I hate to say it, but from the Minutemen's perspective, with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter, I think they're probably just ready for this one to be over. This is really not a winnable game. It is a demoralizing game to lose like this to a team that's two classes below you. And you want to escape without further injury. You've got a lot of good things as a team that you've done well this season with the rushing attack and to build on. In fact, I think we've gone to a running clock now.
Here's the throw to the outside that is incomplete to Kent Hill. Dropped at the 46-yard line. Flashes now 2nd and 10 from the 48. St. Joseph Academy 38, Cocoa Beach 0. 150 to go in the third quarter, and that clock, it does continue to move despite the incompletion. So now as T-Bolt jogs back out to the huddle for what could be his last series of the game, they're having a interesting conversation along the sidelines here. Special teams coach and the offensive coordinator. Again, might be working out that McCormick special. Inside 120 to play. T-Bolt takes the snap, rolls out fakes it to the left. Now he's going to throw it down the right side, and the pass is broken up at the 20, but a flag comes out. Mac Tibbetts, number 7, asking for the interference call, and the flag is there, but not sure which way that one's going to go. A little bit of hand fighting right at the point. There at the 25-yard line. It would be a 15-yarder if it's against Cocoa Beach. Officials are talking it over.
That's the difference between high school and the pros, is that it's not a spot foul. It is a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. And it looks like there might be a second flag at the line of scrimmage. We may have a hold here, and it might turn out to be offsetting penalties if indeed it was a defensive pass interference.
The other possibility is I'm not sure that T-Bolt went across the line of scrimmage when he made that throw. So he was rolling out to the right, and again, I think if we had replay, we'd be able to determine if any part of his body hadn't crossed that line, but we do not.
Well, and he was, without a doubt, he was close, and there is a referee, a side judge, whose job it is to stand on that line. So I believe that would negate the pass interference call. And the clock has just run down to mark the end of the third quarter during the time that the officials were deciding things.
And that is the end of the third quarter. The penalty is against the Flashes. We'll let you know a little bit more when we come back. We're going to step away for 30 seconds. You're listening to Flashes Football on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. Thanks for being along with us. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights and Flashes Football on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes lead 38-0 over the Cocoa Beach Minutemen.
Boy, that was a hefty mark-off. We thought we saw a personal foul called, but we didn't see the personal foul happen.
So here we go. The Flashes line up with two wide receivers, one in the slot, and a little H-back here. Will Karn, the man in motion. Greg Allen is the one in the backfield. James Drysdale appears to be done for the evening. Little middle screen here to Allen, but he can't come down with the catch.
Some confusion during the alignment. T-Bolt was moving Will Karn, the slot receiver, from the right side to the left side. Will seemed to hesitate in the middle, which almost certainly means to the defense he's not getting the ball.
So the Flashes are going to line up for their first punt of the evening. Now, number 7, Mac Tibbetts, who came into the season as the punter, broke his hand right before the season began. And so quarterback Dylan T-Bolt has been your punter. Tibbetts came back and was healthy last week, played in the game but did not punt. Very excited to see him punt this week.
And the truth is, we haven't done a whole lot of punting, in part because our offense has been very productive and economical, and in part because the coaches believe in the offense and often have gone for it even on 4th and medium and sometimes even on 4th and long.
No doubt. But right now they're looking at 4th and about 30. So the punt is on its way. Tibbetts, the converted soccer player, came over this year as a senior. High snap here, but he fields it well, is rushed, but gets away a beauty of a kick that's going to be caught inside the 30-yard line. Not much of a return. He's going to be taken down with forward progress at the 30. What a field-flipping punt by Mac Tibbetts, who was under pressure, rushed it a little bit, but really put a charge into that one.
And we saw something from Michael Mugford that if we had TV and we could slow it down. Todd, you're probably aware that tackling these days is being taught differently than when we were growing up.
True story.
The heads-up tackling has become the new way of tackling from youth football all the way up to the pros. The Seattle Seahawks are famous for it. And there's a move called the thigh drive and roll that we just saw perfectly executed by Michael Mugford. Hit low, rolled the player so he had nowhere to run. It was a beautiful form tackle.
Rosario takes the initial handoff, and boy, is he quick. That's the first time he's really had some room to run. Took it off tackle on the right, made the first man miss, and looks to have gained about 17 yards based on the spot. He might have had a lot more if not angled out of bounds.
And those tackling changes come at a time where youth football participation is down, where concussion knowledge is up, and a lot of parents are genuinely concerned. We've talked before about the tremendous assets that Coach Tidwell has provided in helmets that have an extra layer of concussion protection and sensors that can detect concussion level type hits.
They go back to Rosario again. Drysdale was the first one there, and then a couple of guys helped him out. Those Rydell helmets and the sensors, which are communicating with a small computer that is with Dr. Volk and with our trainer, Isabella Collins. They from St. Augustine Orthopedic doing a great job supporting our Flashes athletes. Minutemen lineup here, 2nd down and 9 to go. 2 wide receiver set, 3 men in the backfield along with Mazziotti. He's going to take the snap. He rolls out. He is under a lot of pressure. Sam Ryan puts the hit on him. This one's going to be caught at the 33-yard line. A nice catch there by number 24, Junior Branham. That's his 3rd or 4th target of the night, but the first catch.
And that was another ball that was delivered under pressure and was just kind of floated up there. The safety Dylan Ott was in a position to make a tackle, but the receiver used his big body to create space between himself and the safety and was able to make the catch for a first down.
Sam Ryan was putting the pressure on the quarterback and got a little pop in there right at the end. Flash is still playing this modified 3-4. Safeties are tight to the line. They're going to run the option outside to Zarnes. He's going to pick up 5, now 10 yards. A nice run from Cocoa Beach. They are down 38-0 to the St. Joseph Academy Flashes. There are a little over 7 minutes to go in this ball game, a running clock. The Flash's defense, looking to preserve the shutout, is going to need to step up here. Minutemen have the ball at the 25-yard line and moving.
That was a perfect executed option play by the quarterback. He ran the ball straight at the end, made the end commit, and then when the end had committed, he threw the ball to the open tailback.
Here comes another quick pitch to the outside. That's that orbit motion play. That one's going to go to Branham, but he's going to lose yards on that one. 2nd and 14.
And that was sophomore Brendan DeRico in on a tackle, and he was pretty charged up. He's a guy that's a second-team defensive player, and boy, looked like he might be worthy of some first-team reps with the way he played that, just by virtue of staying home on a play that looked by design to go defensive left, but then came back to defensive right. And DeRico, along with Ethan Senderling playing on the outside linebacker, were there to make the play.
Rolling out to the right, throwing this one into the end zone. That one is going to be broken up by Christian Kess, but a flag comes out. I think he's going to get called for interference on that play, which is going to give Cocoa Beach another first down and move them into the red zone for the first time in the second half.
And it was hard to see from this vantage point because it's the absolute opposite corner of the field where Kess defended that play. It looked like in the beginning he had his back to the ball, and that always puts a defensive back in a dangerous position, and the receiver was a couple yards behind. It looked from my vantage point that he was able to turn and make a play on the ball, but it's not clear from as far as we are whether he made contact with the receiver while turning to play on the ball.
While the teams take a quick water break, Ponte Vedra, who was up 10-6 over Menendez, Menendez has actually taken the lead 13-10. Bartram Trail still up 30-8 over St. Augustine, and in a new score here, Creekside up 31-21 over Nice.
I remember the days not too long ago when St. Augustine and Nice were the county powers, and those days have passed, at least temporarily.
Well, every team in this county is strong, and it's all cyclical. A lot of these young athletes having fun on these Friday nights. Glad they're out there getting a chance to work. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes currently lead 38-0 over Cocoa Beach. We are inside the 6-minute mark here. A running clock. Minutemen have the ball at the 13-yard line. Here's the snap, the handoff to Rosario, and he's going to be taken down at the line of scrimmage. Actually, they're going to give him a yard on the play. But another great stop by this Flash's defense.
Sophomore Tyler Strasbaugh is getting some action in at cornerback on the right side of the defense.
Tyler is a fan favorite. He's got a great energy and a great attitude. A lot of great kids at St. Joe's, but Tyler's one of the best.
And he's not only a fan favorite, but he's also a player favorite. You can see that he's a guy that doesn't see the field as much as some of the other guys, but the players just absolutely love him and are behind him. He works as hard as anybody in practice and throughout the offseason.
Flash's defense looking at a 2nd and 8 here as Cocoa Beach is going to come to the line. They've got the ball at the 12-yard line. They need to get down to the 4 for a first down, so still an opportunity to get the first down without getting into the end zone. They've got a man split out to the wide side of the field that has got to be a good 35 yards away from his quarterback right now. Two receivers out to the right. They're going to roll this one to the short side of the field. That one is going to be caught for a touchdown.
I believe that was Christian Kess. You don't see many touchdowns scored on Christian Kess's side. He was in the vicinity and made a late play on the ball. What they did was flood that zone, and so Kess had to really cover 2 guys and make a choice to one, kind of played in between, and the quarterback threw a little bit of a rainbow, but it got to where it needed to be, where the Flash defender could not make a play on it.
So Cocoa Beach is on the board. It's 38-6 as they line up to go for 2 here. Tight formation. They're going to give this one to Zarnas, and he's hit hard at the goal line, but the ball crossed the line, and they're going to be in for the score. So with that, it's Cocoa Beach 8. The Flashes still lead by 30. 4:16 to go, a running clock. We're going to stay with you here because as this clock rolls, there's not a whole lot of time left in this game. Double checking with the officials that the clock will still continue to run with the current margin. It will indeed. So it's 38-8 in favor of St. Joseph Academy. 3:50 to go in the game. So as we start to wind down here, and as the teams get ready for the kickoff, just a couple of quick notes for you. Again, huge note of thanks to Katie back in the WSOS studios, not only for keeping us on the air, but for updating us with all these scores from around the county. Big shout out to Lee McCool for the work that he did to help us get this field ready for tonight. It looks fantastic. Also to AgPro for the work they did on the turf itself. To CJ Emerson, our in-press box producer. Right now, I've got James Cook running the computer. He's keeping that score and that clock running for you. Up top on the camera is Michael Tolsman. My co-host tonight is the campus minister at St. Joseph Academy and the proud dad of the safety here. His name is Brian Ott. My name is Todd DiClemente. We are thrilled to bring you Flashes football here every Friday night. We'll be on the road next week, so tune in again. If you're watching this live on YouTube, we will continue to broadcast these games in a variety of formats for your viewing pleasure or your listening pleasure. As the kicker sets the ball up, a clear onside kick is on the way, going with the low-angled set. He's going to kick this one to the left. It's going to take a big hop at the 50, but Greg Allen is going to recover it. He's going to lay down right there, and the Flashes will retain possession. Heads-up play by the freshman wide receiver. We are just shy of 2:10 to play in this ball game, and what a night it's been for the Flashes.
Terrific night, and while our home field's going to be vacant for the next couple weeks, it won't be completely vacant. We've got the Police Athletic League that's coming on Monday night for some Monday night football under the lights at Versailles Field. We're going to welcome back former defensive coordinator for St. Joe, Will Smith, who's going to be coaching the Police Athletic League middle school football team. So we're happy to have them here in Versailles Field this week.
So we've got a new quarterback in the game. Greg Allen is sticking around at running back, but I believe that's Will Karn, number 6, in at quarterback. Ooh, a bad snap here. They're going to have to fall on this one. Not sure who was in at center, but that one came back in low and hot, and it's going to get away from Karn. It's going to bring up a second and about 25. A big loss on the play.
Thomas Klarman is in the game, a freshman offensive lineman, seeing some action tonight.
Flashes line up here, 2nd and 25. We are inside a minute to play. Huge win for the Flashes. They are going to move to 5-0, and also with this new playoff point system, pick up some big points with a 5A win. Greg Allen takes the handoff from Will Karn up the middle. He's going to gain about 5 yards here, maybe 6. We might have time for one more play. 35 seconds to go. What a night for these Flashes. A huge win over Cocoa Beach. Great job by all the coaches. Great job by the players. Great job by the fans. And once again, a great job by our production crew here.
And that's going to do it.
That will do it. So, on a night that we didn't know what to expect, but we were hopeful, the Flashes from St. Joseph Academy put 38 points on the board against Cocoa Beach. It's a 38-8 win for the Flashes. Congrats to head coach Brandon Tidwell. His team has moved to 5-0. What a game. What a night. So thankful you were along with us. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on StAugustineRadio.com, or along on any of our local stations here on WSOS 103.9 and 95.7. On behalf of my co-host Brian, it's been a great night. Good night, everybody, and go Flashes.